Good evening and welcome to News Hour. Coming up in this edition of the news, Ambassador to France to Sierra Leone and Guinea takes formal leave with President Honest by Kamara State House. Muslim Television Ahmadiyya and the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation award certificates to 10 camera operators after training. Environment Protection Agency Executive Chairperson warns of dangers around disaster-prone areas in Freetown, and some 100 women get boost to kickstart small-scale businesses in Freetown. All the stories and more, including business and sports, are lined up in this hour. I'm Daphne, Zainad. Stay tuned. For our first news story this evening, the ambassador of the Republic of France, accredited to the republics of Sierra Leone and Guinea, Bertrand Cochery, has taken formal leave of President Honest by Kamara at State House. Razia Kamara filing this report.
How are you? Doing fine, thank you.
Presenting the ambassador, the Minister of State 1, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mohamed Jibril Sissé, said he is honored to present His Excellency, the French ambassador who wants to take leave of the president as he has been posted to another country. He maintained that the ambassador, Bertrand Cochery, has been a very good friend of Sierra Leone whilst he served as ambassador to the country. The Minister of State 1 added that France has done great things for Sierra Leone and is amongst the first countries to establish diplomatic relations with the country after independence. Mr. Sissé noted that France has been in Sierra Leone promoting business and providing security in the sub-region while strengthening bilateral relationships with the government and country. Taking formal leave of President Kamara, Ambassador Bertrand Cochery expressed disappointment that this is one of his last week in the sub-region and that he is leaving Guinea and Sierra Leone for Congo-Brazzaville, which could be his next difficult posting. The ambassador expressed profound gratitude to His Excellency the President and to all the people that have been working with him in Sierra Leone for the confidence they gave him and the good relationship that they have built together and enhanced. He also particularly thanked President Kamara for the support he gave to the development of the economic business of France in Sierra Leone. The ambassador noted with satisfaction that during the outbreak of the Ebola, most of the French companies stayed in the country and pledged that they must come back to Sierra Leone as soon as possible, which they adhered to. This, he pointed out, was a good signal for the country, and today they have quite a number of French companies in Sierra Leone, which will give a new color of French people living in Sierra Leone with special capacity, knowledge, and a new way of doing things in the field of communication.
We have to work and work and work more closely together. From this point of view, when I will come back to Paris, I will pass a certain number of messages as a reminder of my presence and experience here in Sierra Leone, to say that we must go on supporting all the efforts of Sierra Leone to work with the neighboring countries. I know the quality of the links you have with Mr. President Alpha Condé, and if we can go on supporting the Sierra Leone's armed forces, for instance, with the teaching of French, with cooperation, for instance, on the naval side, I think it would be very useful for the future. So, this being said, Mr. President, I don't want...
Bidding farewell to Ambassador Bertrand Cochery, President Nkrumah said it is not the best of moment to say goodbye to an envoy, especially one that has served the country very well during his tour of duty as ambassador to the country. The president maintained that during his tenure, the two countries have enhanced their relationship, especially in the areas they are now paying emphasis, including the private sector engagement. He noted with optimism that they have increased the number of companies that are of French origin that are participating and are very productive to the country's economy. Citing the ambassador's remarks on the eve of his departure, President Nkrumah said he mentioned that just on the eve of his departure, the country will be having in Orange mobile telephone company, as big companies from France will be coming into the country to invest. The president told Ambassador Khoury that as a government, they are looking forward to the commencement of the activities in the country, which shows a lot of collaborative efforts, manifesting the fact that the two countries have strengthened and enhanced their relationship. He added that the envoy was also in the country during the time the government and the nation were battling Ebola, which was quite a significant period in the history of the country, which Sierra Leoneans will never forget in a hurry. President Nkrumah pointed out that they will always remember those that helped them during the crisis of fighting Ebola, saying France was one of those countries. The president noted with appreciation that he is of the view that France did not only help Sierra Leone as a country, but the French government came in and approached the region. Thus, through their intervention and regional approach, the three countries were able to collaborate to take the fight at a regional level.
But, Mr. Ambassador, you said you are going to take messages when you go back. And I am happy that in doing that, you will be serving as Sierra Leone's ambassador to Paris and take the message of our great hope that we have not only enhanced, but we are looking forward to the days when we will go back to where the relationship was before the outbreak of the war. Before then, the French were very much involved in the private sector here. The French were more or less controlling our tourism in those days, and flights coming on a fortnightly basis in and out of the country. And most of the touristic villages we established along the peninsula were of French ownership. The St. Michael's, the Toke, and you name them, and even the single bungalows that we are establishing. And in fact, it got to the point when, on the eve of the outbreak, we had here the president of Club Mediterranean. He was here. We had a big meeting at the Mamioko. Mamioko was then run by the French. You know, so there was a huge French presence.
President Ernest Bai Nkrumah talking there to the outgoing French ambassador to Sierra Leone. Some 100 women have been empowered with mini tables covered with umbrellas, 3 crates of assorted drinks, and some cash for icing to kickstart small-scale businesses in Freetown. The Sierra Leone Bottling Company and UN Women provided the empowerment for the first batch of women, aimed for them to be self-reliant. We'll bring you the report.
Judge Musa, the project will cost over $150,000, beginning with the first phase. It says the company will use $50,000 for the first phase. The sales manager adds that the project intends to empower 5 million women all over the African continent by 2020, including 400 selling women. He adds that they have given these women items in cash to start up their businesses in their own way, as they are most vulnerable in society.
100 women, and the second phase we are targeting now, we have started the verification exercise in up-country, where we are going to bring in the up-country women who we believe are much vulnerable than even the ones in Freetown. The second phase is going to be up-country. Then we have the third phase and the fourth phase before December, which are giving the 400 women the opportunity to start their business across the country.
The sales manager says the move by the Sanitation Bottling Company and the UN Women came together to support the women in doing business is for them to develop and be assisting their husband in the upkeep of their various homes. The beneficial women were very much appreciative for the gesture by the Sanitation Bottling Company and the UN Women for providing them with support free of cost with no string attached like other institutions do.
Well, I'm going to do well. I will make sure say even when it's me say not for even dirty, the cool man not even dirty. I will make sure say I will always take care of the cool man, take care of the umbrella we didn't give me, and even see map as a woman for like call storage and UN Women and name them stand.
Well, I'm not been able to do business before, but through this training where they give me so, and they assure you say I don't get experience how to do this business.
Okay.
The women organization 50-50 group of Sierra Leone has started a 2-day biennial general meeting of its members at the British Council in Freetown. The meeting reviewed the group's constitution and elected a new national executive, national and district coordinators to run the affairs of the group for the next 2 years. The meeting also discussed efforts made to address the safety and empowerment of women and girls in the country. Nasiruddin Koroma filing this report.
Considering the level of violence offenses against women and girls in the country, the opening session focused on the efforts made to address the safety, their protection and empowerment in Sierra Leone generally. The Minister of Social Welfare, Gender and Children's Affairs, Dr. Sylvia Blyden, informs the gathering that Sierra Leone has gender laws and policies strong enough to address issues relating to the protection and empowerment of women and girls in the face of patriarchal gender inequalities and oppression. She reminds the audience that President Kamara has stated that violence against one woman is violence against the state, maintaining that Pillar 8 of the Agenda for Prosperity is on women. The Social Welfare Minister, however, notes the serious challenges in combating violence against women and girls in the society.
I have to lament that despite all the wonderful initiatives that I have just recounted, which are supposed to address and respond to sexual and gender-based violence, we still have a considerably huge challenge, as evidenced by the high prevalence rate. These have been largely attributed to the following: limited enforcement of the provisions of all the wonderful laws that I just recounted, limited understanding of the actual legislative measures within these laws, very weak capacity of the law enforcement agencies, including the rather limited presence of family support unit police personnel, and a limited ability of the courts to provide support for SGBV victims. There is also the aspect of limited support for the development of safe homes, medical, legal, and other psychosocial support, as a result of which some victims prefer to stay silent rather than go into the world unknown where they don't have the support that they require.
Talking on the topic, efforts made to address safety of women in Sierra Leone, the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of crime services, Maury Lengo, informs women of new security measures and strategies to fast-track the dispensation of justice in order to combat crimes against women and girls, especially sexual and gender-based violence.
For sexual and gender-based violent offenses, including all offenses against children, we have a specially trained unit, a renowned family support unit or FSC, that works collaboratively with the Ministry of Social Welfare, Gender and Children's Affairs, and the Rainbow Centers to investigate these offenses. This unit is spread across the country and is located in 68 police posts, stations, and divisions for easy accessibility. The personnel are professionally trained and with the support of our development partners, they are well positioned to conduct speedy investigation of SGB cases.
The 50-50 Group is a civil society organization that envisions equal representation and participation of women and men in public life in Sierra Leone, political, cultural, socio-economic and traditional processes at all levels. The two-day session held at the British Council has a primary objective to review the organization's constitution and the election of a new national executive, regional and district coordinators to lead the group for another 2-year term.
The executive chairperson of the Environment Protection Agency, Jatu Jallo, has warned residents of Freetown on the dangers to occur around disaster-prone areas. She said experts have predicted adverse climate effects during this year's rainy season. She gave the warning on SLBC's NewsHour.
One thing I need to explain to the general public is that no government has control over climate change. No government in the world, even in the most developed societies where they have greater resources, capacity, logistics than we have in Sierra Leone. What governments do, we adapt and we mitigate against climate change. Yes, the change has to come from us, the people. We have, as a government, identified 30 disaster-prone areas. We have embarked on robust sensitization in all of these communities and asked people to voluntarily relocate. Even in the developed world, countries like America, when there is an impending disaster, what the government does is to advise people to leave their homes. And we have done that time and time and time again. Now, the question people will ask is, but where do you want us to go? We are saying that this must be a temporary measure. There are very few people in this country that don't have relations in the provinces or in other parts of Freetown. For your own safety, not for your property, because property is important, but it's not as important as anybody's life. So we are appealing to people for their own safety to please leave these slum areas. It is just a matter of time. We have been saying this for the past 4 to 5 years. The political will to try and address this issue of climate change has been unwavering and is still unequivocal. ONS actually is the institution that is responsible for disaster. We will continue as an agency to complement their efforts. I know they have strategies in place, and I'm confident that they will be in a position.
Executive Chairperson of the Environment Protection Agency, Jatu Jallo. The Special Advisor to the President and Ambassador at Large has registered government's commitment to ensure it addresses disaster risks especially when the country is presently in the rainy season. He was speaking during the handing over of bundles of zinc and bags of rice offered by the government to 5 towns that were affected by a heavy downpour in May this year in the Kamara district. Doreen Kaloko reports.
The team was headed by the Special Advisor to the President and Ambassador at Large Alpha Khan, the President of the APC Youth League by Mahmoud Bangura and his executive, the Minister of Tourism Sidiya Tunis, and the Member of Parliament for Constituency 42 made the offer to the affected residents by the rain. This gesture follows a series of engagements to ensure the people affected by the rains in Kamara get a boost from the government as a show of concern and commitment in addressing their plight at these trying times in their lives. The heavy storms destroyed their houses and properties, leaving of them challenged with shelters to dwell in. The president of the APC Youth League by Mahmoud Bangura says that they share the pain with the affected people as the downpour destroyed their properties. He adds that when they heard about the disaster, they swiftly set up a committee and immediately discussed with President Kamara, who wasted no time to provide zinc and bags of rice to the victims. The president of the APC Youth League informs them that the government is committed to address disaster issues, adding that as a community, they should be mindful of making their surroundings environment friendly. He reminds them that last year, hundreds of people were left homeless due to flooding, adding that the government in its utmost best is working hard to prevent such occurrence. Whilst the Special Advisor and Ambassador at Large, Alpha Khan, conveyed President Kamara's sympathy to the affected people by the heavy rains, he says that Kamara is dear to the heart of the government as they are dedicated supporters who have contributed towards the successes of the party. The Ambassador at Large stresses that this is why they have in return embarked on a series of developmental programs as a sign of gratitude to them. He appeals to the youth in the Kamara district to be vigilant and engage in activities that will progress them, as the president has many plans for young people which they too should grab and help transform their lives. He wants them to refrain from idleness and violent activities as future leaders that will move the country to another level. Paramount Chief of the Kamara district, Shebora the Lion II, commended President Kamara and the delegation for their swift intervention to aid the affected residents. He says his people were very grateful of the development project taken to their district. The Paramount Chief commended the Ambassador of Sierra Leone to China, Petito Nkrumah, and other indigents of the Kamara district who quickly came to the aid of the people.
The Commissioner of the National Youth Commission, Anthony Koroma, has described networking and mentoring support clubs as a step forward in building values for girls' education to better their gender roles and responsibilities. He made the statement during the establishment of the networking and mentoring support clubs for senior secondary schools at YWCA Hall. Doreen Kaloko again.
The formation of the networking and mentoring support clubs is to provide a social interaction platform for young girls to deal with social issues under the supervision of a resource person. The National Youth Commission, in its drive to ensure young women and girls realize their potential, the mentoring and networking program will create a platform for young people to share ideas and experience and be able to better understand the values of education and be empowered to be able to make decisions of their own. The National Youth Commissioner, Anthony Koroma, spoke of his ministry's determination and commitment to create an opportunity for young girls to realize their dreams in life. He says that the training is to help them find their role in life. Mr. Koroma spoke about the Commission mandate, which is to help promote young people's skills, talent and creativity to help shape them for national development. The Commissioner urges that young girls should be focused and dedicated towards their studies, especially when the government has created a lot of opportunities with the required structures and institutions to address their plight. The Deputy Commissioner of the National Youth Commission, Aminata Silla, says that the networking and mentoring program for senior secondary school is designed to promote young girls that are in conflict with the law. It is meant for those in the formal sector and school pupils, aiming at creating an opportunity for them to have shared knowledge and have best experiences for a common goal. She encourages the students to make good use of the program and exchange ideas with their colleagues. A representative from STEM, Lilian Musa, spoke about the pressures that led to girls astray, which are how to look perfect, to impress everyone, caregivers, and social lives. She told the girls to take things one at a time and to be themselves in life. Lawyer Davis Christina Cole from Lawyers encourages the girls to dedicate their time towards their educational career in order to help them acquire education that will enable them complete their career for their safety at all times.
Well, in case you've just joined us, this is News Hour Live on the SRBC. The Islamic units, Sierra Leone and the Anashid family have ended a one-day Islamic festival for children at Voice of Islam in Freetown. The aim was to inspire children to grow love for Islam and their lives according to the dictates of Allah. Series of competitions took place during the ceremony. We'll bring you highlights of that. We apologize for the poor sound quality. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Water Resources, Marie Koroma, has said in Freetown that government will increase its funding to $1 million for rural water supply and sanitation projects in McKinney, Bow, and Kenema. The amount will also include African Development Bank's $61 million for the three towns. She was speaking to stakeholders representing the three towns at a meeting held at the Ministry of Finance, Church Street in Freetown. We bring you an excerpt of that.
It is safe and reliable water supply. This is very key. Safe and reliable in the cities just mentioned, Guinea, Bo, Kenema, and Kenya. For more information, a detailed study of this project was carried out in 2008, and with funding from the EDD to the tune of $61 million. 30% of the funds have been provided by OPEC for international development. Our government, as the government of Sierra Leone, has provided at the moment counterpart funding up to the tune of $500,000, but this is expected to be increased to $1 million by the end of the project. And that the approval of the financial agreement was concluded and signed in December 2011. And in 2011, we started implementation, which is ongoing. And for your information, for now, we can boast of 183 improved sanitation facilities that have been constructed and handed over to beneficiaries in the three cities. And these are schools, and these institutions include schools and other government institutions. And at the moment, many of these facilities are being used, but unfortunately, we have challenges, which is very common in this country, not only unique to Sawahu. Challenges in the area of paying water bills and theft. last week, this issue was brought up to me as the minister in my office. But as an institution, we've braced ourselves to address the issue of theft and the non-payment of water bills in these schools in collaboration with the respective local communities, Kamara and Makeni, which I've seen myself in all the affected areas of reliability of the water supply and quality, and that in readiness to let Sawako commence the process of commercialization. This is a new phenomenon of country. Some of us who have served in our country for quite a long time, we can attest to it that it's not easy for people to pay water bills in the provinces. But with the structures being put in place in Sawako, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that positive action will be taken for the consumers and the stakeholders in the provinces with regards to paying for bills.
The Ahmadiyya Muslim Television, MTA, and the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation have awarded certificates to 10 camera operators of the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation Star Television Network after completing a 4-day training program. The training capacitated the camera operators to match up to the digitalization process. Daphne Kamara qualified in this report.
After a 4-day training of 10 camera operators, certificates were awarded to these participants for participating in training.
Johnny, William, Michael, J.K.
The training is to capacitate the camera operators to match up to the digitalization process in broadcasting. During the 4-day training, participants embarked on a 5-minute documentary to show how best they can apply what they have learned.
I want to be with you. I know you were there for me. What you want in my life, can't take no chance. I want to be with you.
I've been here for 4 years now. I started in February 2012. My role here as a producer, a television producer, is to find issues of the day.
The acting Deputy Director General of the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation, Samuel Valcase, says this is the beginning of the digitalization process of the SLBC and encourages trainees not to forget what they have learned.
To those you have been training over the past few days, we hope you will not forget what you have been told, because sometimes we know not long after the training is over, we either slouch or just go back to what we're used to. Remember that you have to keep these people impressed and encouraged.
Chief Kumabai Kagbo is the coordinator of the Muslim Television Ahmadiyya in Sierra Leone. He thanked the SLBC management for providing them the opportunity and explains that most of the work of the Muslim Television Ahmadiyya is being done by them.
Continued good working relationship with SLBC, and in future we will look at not only coming to train, but looking at how we can partner with SLBC to produce programs that will be beneficial to the people of Sierra Leone.
Trainer Mumin Bati says it is a privilege to train these camera operators as he has seen the passion in them to learn.
This past week, these past few days have been very rewarding for me as a trainer, and I hope so also for the students as well.
A participant, Johnny King, on behalf of the camera operators, thanked the SLBC management and the Muslim Television Ahmadiyya in Sierra Leone for the opportunity and expressed the hope that more trainings will be organized for them and other SLBC staff.
Star TV and SLBC staff present at this program or the training session, we appreciate your training and we pray it will not only stop here today. You will come back again next time to improve on where you've left us.
Well, that's our final news report or news hour for tonight. To end news hour, the main points again. The ambassador of France to Sierra Leone and Guinea, Batwar Koshari, has taken formal leave of President Anis Bai Kurma at State House. The Muslim television Ahmadiyya MTA and the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation have awarded certificates to 10 camera operators after completing a 4-day training. The Environment Protection Agency Executive Chairperson Jatu Jallo has warned residents of dangers around disaster-prone areas in Freetown, and some 100 women have gotten boats to kickstart their small-scale businesses in Freetown. Well, that's all in this edition of the News Broadcast Live on the SLBC. On behalf of News Editor Ibrahim Mansouri, I am Daphne Zainad from Freetown. For more information about our programs, send us an email to contact us at slbc.sl. And in case you miss all or part of our programs at the SLBC, visit our website at www.slbc.sl. Thanks for watching. Have a blessed night and a blessed weekend. Stay tuned to the SLBC for more entertainment and information. Good night.